Over the weekend, the president sealed a large portion of the United States border with Mexico. I don't mean put military on the border to patrol it, sealed it with United States military. But let's get a little more specific into this here. Trump orders military to seal southern border as U.S. accelerates hemispheric defense. And this came out Friday evening, days after NBC reported the Trump administration considered launching drone strikes on cartels in Mexico. President Trump issued a memorandum Friday night to the heads of 4 federal departments, expanding the U.S. military's role in securing the southern border in accordance with Executive Order 14167, clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the United States, declaring a national emergency at the southern border. The move aligns with the border's strategic theme known as hemispheric defense. Now, in this, we're just going to briefly go through this real quick, but I do want to let you know that this will be in the description, the actual White House order, and it goes into all that legal talk that everyone just loves. So we're just going to go back to the synopsis here on Zero Hedge and go to some of the bullet points. First off, everyone needs to know what this is. This is called the Roosevelt Line. It goes from the Pacific Ocean to the border with Texas. What the Roosevelt Line is, it's 60 feet from the borderline with Mexico into the United States, all owned by the federal government. Now they're calling for the Roosevelt Line and other federal-owned properties and lands to be utilized by the military in their mission to secure the southern border. So let's go through some of the bullet points. Key objectives: repel border invasion and seal the United States-Mexico border from unlawful entry. Empower the Department of Defense to use federal lands, excluding Indian reservations, for military observations, border barrier construction, surveillance infrastructure, designation of national defense areas, agency coordination. Secretaries of Defense, Interior, Agriculture, and Homeland Security must coordinate to transfer jurisdiction of necessary lands to the Department of Defense. Allow military installations and operations on federal designated land, e.g., the Roosevelt Reservation. Expedite land withdrawals under 43 United States Code 155 to bypass innate Angle Act restrictions. Rules of engagement. Armed forces to operate under DoD prescribed rules of force. We don't know what those are. At least I haven't been able to find them. If you can find them, please put them in the comments. I would love to know what they are. I assume that it's if you're fired upon, you have the right to fire back. Sure the hell hope so. The implementation phase. Within 45 days, DoD to assess and potentially expand operations to more sectors. So, all federal lands across the border are to be utilized by the Department of Defense for this mission. I want to bring up a map I found. Very cool map. We'll see how this functions here. What this is a map of, oh, damn it. We'll see how this works. Hold on, I'm going to pause it. Okay, we have the map under control. All the colored areas that you're going to see are in one way or another federal government. Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Land Reclamation, Wildlife Refuge Land, National Park, National Forest. All of that is now the purview of the Department of Defense to be used as they see fit. Of course, I'll put this in the description so everyone can see. It's a hell of a thing. And the effectiveness is without question. This is the current numbers monthly. January 2000, to February 2025. You can see the hundreds of thousands on the left-hand side. 8,326. That's not 800,000. That's 8,000 compared to 250,000 just a couple years ago. The president has, what have we started saying, folks? Promises made, promises kept. So in sealing the border, the president has put all the pieces in place, all of them, for kinetic strikes on Mexico. I know that feels like a jump right now, but it's not. This is from Reuters. This is April 8th. Mexico rejects unilateral U.S. military action after report U.S. is weighing strikes. The U.S. has been weighing strikes now for a little while. And the president here, we're going to go through a couple of different quotes here. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Tuesday that her nation would categorically reject any unilateral U.S. military in Mexico and that such military action would not resolve anything. Sheinbaum comments during her regular morning press conference came in response to questions about an NBC News report that President Donald Trump's administration is considering drone strikes on drug cartels in Mexico to combat trafficking across the shared border. And as we've covered on this channel, CIA MQ-9 Reaper drones have been flying over the southern border now. This article is February 18th, so this would almost be 2 confirmed months. And we can only assume that they were flying almost immediately. And these, of course, can be armed with Hellfire missiles, other weapon systems. We also have the rivet joint aircraft, RC-135s, that have been confirmed to be flying off the western coast in the Gulf of California along the Baja Peninsula of Mexico. We have 2 destroyers, one in the Gulf of America, one in the Pacific Ocean, on standby. By the way, they themselves could launch Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles. Their loadout calls for 32 apiece. Whether they're carrying that or not is a totally different matter. There's also the 2nd Stryker Brigade of the 4th Infantry Division out of Fort Collins, Colorado, that has been sent to the border by the president. And we also have Green Berets on the ground with Mexican naval infantry. That's what I was trying to remember. Naval infantry, training them on counterinsurgency tactics and things such as that. The Mexican president has also said, and I want to find this article here. If I can't... Here it is. I found it for you folks. In part, it's part of this little campaign, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said in response to questions about reported CIA drone flights, but did not elaborate. The reason I bring this up is because everything that's been happening has been happening with the knowledge of the Mexican government. So why would we do a unilateral strike? I can tell you why. If you let the government know, you let the cartels know. So all the pieces are in place for a unilateral strike. All the implications of that need to be weighed. This is a strike on our next door neighbor's soil. Yes, against criminals. And yes, it would have to be unilateral, because the corruption in the Mexican government would dictate it to be that way. If we let them know, we're letting the cartel know. And then, what's the response? They're going to respond. We've already had one Texas rancher killed. He was on the other side of the border. He was on the Mexican side of the border when he went over a IED that was meant for a different cartel. There's a cartel war going on down there. We have video of cartels dropping explosive devices on each other from unmanned drones. Things could get really hot, really fast. And the sealing of the border, this is a big thing. It's definitely a big thing. I wanted to bring that to you because this was kind of a Friday news dump kind of thing, where if you weren't really paying attention, you didn't hear a whole lot about the fact that the United States sealed the border. Only cross traffic at the border crossings is allowed, and I'm sure that security has been stepped up as well. I don't know personally, of course. If there's evidence to the contrary, please put it in the comments. I'd love to know that. If I'm wrong, I want to know, so that way I can be right. But I wanted to bring this article to you. That's all I got. I want to thank you very much. If you liked it, hit the like. Subscribe. Share it with a friend. Let them know. The president has sealed the border, and there's pieces in place that could really make it hurt. Thank you.